Everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John and our resident expert, Kyle. So we're going to be talking about the subtle knife today, which was created by the Guild. We're getting into spoiler territory. If you haven't seen season 1 and 2, if you've seen season 1 and 2, you're fine. Go ahead and check out AsArt for the audio and video links, and check out all the other content we have on here. So the Guild and the subtle knife, we get a little bit of background on that, but not a whole lot. I'm curious to hear this conversation as well. I don't know anything about it. So Kyle, expert Kyle, you want to go and lead us in here?
Wait, hold on. Before Kyle starts, can I say that the Lord of the Rings flashback of the Guild was awesome, by the way, at the beginning of season 2. I love that. And I thought
yes.
I'm glad you brought that up, Nick, because that's what made me think okay, the Guild could be its own series.
Totally could.
I think it could be like its own, even its own book, right? Just because that organization of people would be fascinating. Because just think about the story, right? So we kind of come to Cittàgazze, right, when it's in the state of decay after the Guild's already done its dirty work.
Cittàgazze,
or it didn't know at the
sure
time, right?
Is
the city that's that's by the sea,
the main portal between the worlds.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Because the makers of the subtle knife are from there, and they're the ones that made all the cuts into the different worlds. And I was just thinking, it's so fascinating because at the Guild's beginning, or at least in their early days, they're the ones that made the knife. So they're these people of high craftsmanship and artistry, right? To make something so keen and precise to cut between worlds, and also just look visually stunning, right? You can tell the metalwork with that alabaster sort of sheen to it, and then you have the hilt and everything, and just how the blade comes to meet it is really cool. And then all of a sudden, as the old ring bearer, Giacomo. Oh, now I'm the one that forgot the name, Nick.
The old dude.
Yeah, it's the old guy. The old dude. Yeah, and he described that basically the Guild was overcome by greed, by the wealth of these other worlds,
because they would go on there and grab
right.
Stuff,
so you kind of have this.
They were okay, cool.
Correct. Yeah. So you kind of see the them slowly
and
go
was their
into
reason
decay.
For creating the subtle knife at first? Was it for more? Did they just stumble upon it, or was it for more high calling type stuff? Or
great question. It was more for high calling, at least how it sounds when it's described. They were trying to get to the smallest bit of matter that they could find, right? And that's the thing. They kept cutting and cutting, but they found there was just yet another smaller conglomeration of particles. So it makes you seem like it's a scientific pursuit that they're sort of involved in. And then they get to something that once cut, there was nothing else, and they tore through into another world with it. And so that's what developed the technology for the subtle knife.
Let me ask, is this in book 1 and 2? When did they get into this? Is this book 1, 2, 3, or... Book 2. Cool. So this is really stuff that, no spoilers, but it's just stuff you wouldn't have gotten if you were just watching the show. So this is awesome. This is the exact stuff I'm always interested in hearing.
It was created around the same time the lithiumeter was created, right? In a different world. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, you're right.
There was a great awakening at the same time. And there's some other worlds we're going to find out about in book 3. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they also had great awakenings around a certain time period. And that's kind of when everything shifted.
So it's like the Great Renaissance, but it's happening in other worlds.
Exactly.
Huh?
and as a hint, I won't spoil it, but our world is involved.
Yeah.
We had a great awakening as well.
It hasn't been revealed fully yet. We find out a lot from it's going to be Dr. Mary's character who discovers these things and makes the connection, and she's going to be like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny, where she has the webs going everywhere, and she's like, I found the key, anyways.
Pepe Sylvia. Yeah.
But let's jump back into the Guild, and they have the knife, and basically they were just cutting away like crazy, and I don't think anyone knew.
No, I got another question.
Oh yes, okay.
So I haven't got questions. So as they're doing this, are specters flying out the whole time? Are you getting all kinds of funky stuff, or is this later on, or is this spoiler territory?
I think it's kind of spoiler territory.
Wait a minute, is it?
Don't you think?
Um, let's just say that at the time
specters.
they were not aware that that the
Yeah.
knife had intentions of its
Yeah.
own. Right.
So yeah, just remember that the
Yeah.
knife has intentions of its own. That's going to be a big thing at the beginning of season 3. You know, like, and just say, yeah, it's gonna be good. I don't know if they're gonna go, you know, because of how much they have to cram into the last season. I don't know how many little details we're gonna get. So we might
Right.
slip little things in there because that might be overlooked, and you know, for the sake of timing.
It's so funny to think that we're
Right.
saying there's not enough time and they're getting 3 seasons, whereas until the streaming era, one long movie was all you ever got. Like, that's just crazy to think about. Like, wow.
It's very true. So
That's true.
So the guild,
That's a good
you know,
point.
like John was saying, they just went slicing into thin air, and it's so interesting because they just didn't realize the power that they had, and I think that's like the whole thing. That's like the theme of the knife, right? No one realizes the true power of the knife, and or its capabilities. There's a few characters in season 3 that realize the power. Well, I guess John Perry knew the power, right, Kyle? Yeah.
John Perry.
Yeah.
is-
Will Perry's dad.
He alludes to it.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why he was being
Yeah.
followed by
He
spiritual beings, which wasn't included, which is in book 2, but it wasn't included, but because they knew that he knew something that they didn't know, so they were trying to follow him to find the answer.
Mhm. So I think we know that the guild sort of descended into this sort of corrupt state, but at the same time, it seems. I mean, now of course we're just seeing 2 knife bearers so far, right? One being the old man, and then the other one being Will, and they both seem to, at least based off of what Giacomo says, he seems to be a man of integrity. Right. And honor of someone. He's like, look, you cannot abuse the power of the knife. Right. You have to respect its power. And you can't use it, you know, for your own gain. Right. There has to be a purpose, aside from such shallow intentions. So I don't know. I guess that's the saving grace of the guild is maybe, who knows, maybe they maintained a little bit of their old standard. Right. And really, I guess it serves them right for toying in powers they don't understand. But at the same time, I guess it lives on with Will, who is not of Cittàgazze.
Well, you know what? I do like the idea, though. It sounds like, I mean, scientists kind of knew what they were doing when they're, you know, the atom bomb, the hydrogen bomb, all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, can we do it? Or, you know, we're have this pursuit. It could be used for good or for not. But at the same time, it's like they just want to get there. And it's cool that you kind of said they have this scientific pursuit behind it because it gives it a better idea that they're not doing it to do bad things, but you just arrive at this place where you have this technology or whatever you want to call it and make of it what you will. It's kind of a cool concept that they, I don't know if the author did that on purpose, picking and choosing different threads, but it's cool that you can relate it to other things that have, you know, come and gone. And
so
know,
Kyle,
Yeah.
there's
kinda
one more
fun.
knife bearer that's mentioned in the books. It's very, very brief. It's in book 3. They're not going to cover this in the book, but Mary goes through a cut, and briefly, the book describes who made the cut, and it was made around the time of the Civil War, I think, during America or something like that. And they mentioned the guy's name in the cut. It was just so cool because it was like this random piece of knowledge about, like, because they go through so many already pre-cut holes, and they don't like give you backstory on who cut those holes. It was so bizarre that they like said it was during the Revolutionary War or the Civil War or something like that. When it was made, when the cut was made, when she went through, it was just like, that's so cool. I want to know when all the other cuts were made. Please tell me when all the cuts were made.
Exactly. The lineage of the bearers, right? Yeah.
So unless those particular cuts are closed, they just exist perpetually. Is that what the idea is?
Yeah.
If they're not sealed up, that's the thing.
Interesting.
And you know,
And that's kind of cool because that almost to me goes back to the whole biblical stuff of the Garden of Eden, and it's, you know, supposedly still out there, but it's, you know, barred by a, you know, a flame sword, you know, wielding angel and things, but you don't see it. And it's like, oh, this kind of gives a cool little twist to it as well. Again, I'm maybe drawing parallels that, you know, shouldn't be drawn, but it's kind of going back to the biblical
it's
stuff.
major themes in this book is biblical themes. So, and
Nice.
I think that's pretty much it with the guild. I mean, it's super cool. Their ability they had. It's cool that everyone kind of had awakening around that same time too. And I can't wait to see what they're gonna do in season 3 with the knife and stuff. If you guys enjoyed this, we do so many other His Dark Materials. We cover like the spirit is matter. We do like the differences between the books and stuff. So feel free to subscribe and follow us. John here is along for the ride. He has not read the books. He has no knowledge, but he's digging all the backstory. And one of the reasons why we enjoy doing this so much is for John, just to inform John, to make the viewing experience extra special for him, because now he can make connections and stuff, and he's enjoying it.
Now, John might read the books. We'll see if I get around to it. But it's fun because just getting all, it's not spoiler territory. It's just things that, hey, books 1 and 2 have come and gone. What stuff they weren't able to fit into the season. It's just fun to have that backstory, and maybe it'll like kind of like me. It'll get you guys interested in wanting to read the books or listen to it on Audible or whatever like that. So really, really fun stuff. Again, like Nick was saying, check out all the breadth of content. We're gonna be doing a lot more deep dives. And again, I'm super excited for these because I just get to listen and take it in and just ask questions that hopefully you guys have as well. So.
Follow Kyle on Instagram. He's an amazing artist. Go check out his work.
Yes.
He's more than just an expert at His Dark Materials. He's an expert artiste, and he has really cool art on there. And if you guys want to message or reach out to him and just tell him how great his artwork is, and tell him you came from AsArt, that would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Check out AsArt.space for the audio and video links. We drop podcasts as well. Check out all the content on here, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.